What's up, everybody? Mike Toney here, and today I'm going to be doing another simple exercise. It's just a simple structure exercise, and the reason why I want to do this is the past couple of tutorials I've been doing have been more intermediate tutorials, and I think that people forget to go back to the basics, things we need to practice every day. So I probably do this for maybe an hour a day, a lot of times within my transit. But what I wanted to show you guys, I wanted to focus on you guys is if you want to become a better artist, you have to understand the basics, and you have to understand these basic shapes that will really help you do your gestures and figures a lot simpler and allow you to break them down. So we're just going to start off with a simple rectangle here. And the idea is to just think about this rectangle as an actual cube or box. And we want to just change the perspective on this rectangle. And what that's going to do is that's going to it's going to allow us to start to get a better understanding of these simple mechanics in a 3D space. So, for example, I'm just going to tilt this upward. And I'm probably going to tilt it up, you say, I don't know, like 70 degrees or something. And when you do that, the sides here, let's switch to a different color. The sides here are actually going to taper in. And what that does is that gives the illusion of a distance. And that's all art is. It's simply an illusion. We're trying to make 3D figures on a 2D space, on a 2D plane. And in order for us to do that, we have to understand these simple structures before we can really get into breaking them down and making them more complicated. So now, as you can see me tilting this structure backward into space, it looks like it's going away. It looks like it's going into a specific point. And that's, you know, that's really what we want to portray. That's really what we want to kind of play with. And right now, you could say we're looking at the bottom of this rectangle, and this is the face of the rectangle. So what I like to do is I like to play with these, and I start off with the basic rectangle here, and then I just kind of move them around a little bit and get comfortable with these structures. So I'm actually going to now turn our simple structure in the beginning. I'm going to turn it now to the side. Let's say we turn it to the right. And so for me, generally, what really helps is I like to start with what I would consider the spine of the structure, like right where this corner or vertex is, and then go back into space from there. So use the diagonals here at the vertices or at the points. And what that does is that allows me to have a better understanding of the perspective that I feel like the box is going, this rectangle is going back to. And as you can see, the top line, these horizontal lines here, I have them going on a diagonal on both sides because that shows that it is going back into a 2-point perspective. And that's very important because that's what gives it that level of realism. I'll show you a bad example of what a lot of people kind of do when they think about boxes. They will, they do this odd kind of cube here where they will do this, and they do this, and they do this. And even now, me doing that is actually a little bit better, but they do kind of like this side cube thing here, and that's not really realistic because you don't see the entire front of the cube. You know, these two lines here would not necessarily, your horizontal lines would not necessarily be straight or parallel. So, you know, this isn't really how you would actually look at this box. How you'd actually look at this box, if you were looking at it from a corner in perspective, is something I see a lot. And I'm actually going to do this part in this bright green, and hopefully you guys will be able to see it a little bit clearer, is that the box actually is going back into space. See, that here is more of a realistic understanding of this cube. And that's where I feel like some people tend to have issues with doing things in perspective, because their horizontal lines tend to be off. And that's what I find for myself is very frustrating. It's very annoying. Or when I started, or when I kind of stopped, before I started doing these structures on a day-to-day basis. So right now, and so now I've just shown you like 2 simple, easy ways to do these boxes. And then what you want to do is you want to actually jump into something that may be a little bit more difficult. And let's say you wanted to do, I don't know, like this box, the same box, but now you're looking at it from a bottom point of view, and it's also going back into perspective. And this is something, let's say like your character is like bent like this, so you're going to be looking underneath their rib cage as well, and you're going to be able to see the front of the chest. So you want to play around with these simple structures, because then eventually they will adapt into your puppet that you want to do when you're trying to do dynamic poses or even just simple poses. And so experimenting with this, you can get some pretty good gestures. So I practice this little technique every day, and I feel like it's been helping a lot. Well, not every day, but most days. And I feel like it's been helping a lot in giving me a better understanding of my characters in a 3D space and in perspective. And what it also does is it helps me break down other gestures when I'm practicing studies and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what is the perspective the body is moving in? And once you kind of master these, or once you understand this concept, it will allow you to start to create your own gestures and your own motions from the top of your head. And that's really the purpose here. Like, we don't really want to copy anybody's work forever. We want to kind of start to be able to make it our own and figure out what's good, and keep what's good, and add our own flavor and add our own style to it. So I'll do one more example of the 2 simple shapes kind of creating a gesture, and I'll work with one of my favorites here where I'll turn the body again sideways, going back into space. And then I'm actually going to twist it a little bit. Oh, let's not go that extreme. And so you see how once you understand this a little bit more, you can actually play around with your characters moving back into space. And it will help you a little bit with foreshortening, to some degree. And the character has a real kind of supermodel pose going on right now. He's 1 foot forward. There's 1 foot back here. A very bougie model-y pose. All right, guys. Well, this video here is short. I wanted to do something that's a little bit more concise, something that you guys can take your own time and practice. And I really hope that you guys actually do practice this and you start to see how it fits into your progression as becoming better artists. I am going to start to change my video schedule. I'm going to try to come up with instructional videos on Fridays and a couple of just interesting illustration videos on Monday, whether I'm drawing with a couple of people that follow me or I'm kind of doing a speed sketch. So if you guys liked the video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.